Don't listen to Nick Fuentes. He's crazy and hateful. Listen to J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance says it's time to give Israel missiles and bomb Iran so that you can fight a war with China, because he's a spokesperson for global leadership, and he will convince you to stay away from that toxic Trump, Nick Fuentes stuff because of his credibility as a disaffected white guy. That's it. That's what it is. How do we steer the population back into a new Cold War? How do we steer the population into supporting Israel in a way, in a world where they're rapidly losing credibility? Get a guy like Vance. Get a guy like Vance to imitate and echo back to you, to project back to you the grievances of the white working class while steering you into the agenda of the CIA and the DOD and Israel, which is a distinction without a difference. Do you get it now? And that's who's doing it. I'm being accused of being the CIA by Peter Thiel's best boys, by Tucker Carlson with his daddy. Tucker Carlson's, and you know what? Here's the other thing. Tucker Carlson said I'm a weird gay kid in the basement. Yeah, and I'm from Chicago. You're right. Well, okay, you're not right about all of that. But I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth. Tucker Carlson says, I have so many trust funds, I never have to work. Tucker went to a $45,000 per year private high school, then a $45,000 per year selective Ivy League school in New England. Tucker Carlson's daddy was a Reagan appointee. And then, after years of bragging about being an elite, bragging about being so out of touch and so rich, now he's going to be the spokesperson for all the white people. Now he's going to roll up his sleeves. I just like to hunt and fish in my log cabin. I care about Klarna and credit card debt. But then when it comes to me, I'm one of the real disaffected white people. You want to talk about me and them? I am them. He says Nick Fuentes is leading all of the disaffected young white men. I am a disaffected young white man. I was a precocious, intelligent, young white college student who went to Boston University, who was pro-Trump and red-pilled by Trump and animated by Trump's message of America first. And I asked questions about Israel, and I was punished for it. I did it years before Tucker Carlson started talking about Israel last year. And I sacrificed, and I was targeted by the ADL, by the SPLC, by the federal government, by the conservative movement that both Candace and Tucker were a part of. Candace and Tucker had nothing to say about Israel until it became unavoidable last year. Not popular, but unavoidable. And now they want to gatekeep me out and do this personality attack and say I'm a bitter loser in my basement from Chicago. I'm a kid from Chicago. And they slipped up there because they forgot for 1 second that they're pretending to be the spokesperson for exactly that kind of person. Tucker's mask slipped, and he forgot for a minute that for 8 years he's been pretending to care about the plight of weird kids in their parents' basement who are broke and didn't go to an Ivy League school, living in cities that don't matter like Chicago, not like Washington, D.C. or LA or New York. And that's why he had such disdain and contempt for me in that moment. Between the personality attacks, he's lonely, he's weird, he lives in a basement. I'm sorry, did you guys forget that that's your target audience that you're trying to pander to? Did you forget that for 2 seconds? And I'm the inauthentic person? I am that person. I am a spokesman for the disaffected white man because I am one, and you two are not. Candace Owens got married to British royalty worth $200 million after meeting him for 2 weeks on Zoom. What the f*** is even that about? And Tucker Carlson's dad ran the CIA's propaganda empire fighting the Soviet Union. He went and fought with the Contras when he was in college. When I was in college, I was doing a webcam show in my friend's dorm room criticizing Israel. So who's the CIA cutout? Who's the inauthentic one? Who's the crazy, hateful one?
I mean, yeah, what the fuck is that all about? Like, you don't know your dad's in the CIA? Like, I get that they keep certain things from you, but, you know, Tucker's a smart guy. You know, say what you want about him. He's not stupid. So for the fact that he doesn't know anything about his dad being the CIA, I'm not buying that for a second. I think that's total, utter bullshit, in my opinion. But yeah, we'll keep going.
I would never describe a well-meaning young white person who's trying to get ahead as a weird kid in his basement from Chicago. And what is that supposed to mean? What is wrong with being from Chicago? What is wrong with being weird? What is wrong with living in your basement? That's a lot of people because of the problems you claim to care about. Tucker's at Turning Point USA extolling the predatory nature of usury and how it's preventing young white men from getting homes. And then the week after says, you're in your mom's basement. So which is it? Do you care about Klarna and people going into debt to order pizzas and home ownership being impossible? Or do you think that's a contemptible, low status thing to be ridiculed and mocked? Who's pandering here exactly? Because that wasn't you. You were born to the Swanson family fortune and your daddy who ran the CIA. You know, my dad didn't even graduate college. My dad worked for the tollway. His dad died of a drug overdose in the 70s. My mother's father was a garbage man in Chicago, and he committed suicide. He was a veteran of World War II. Who's the CIA cutout? Who's the poser? Who is America? I am America. Chicago is America. That's an American story. I didn't go to Yale Law School and suck Peter Thiel's dick and then get a sinecure at a venture capital firm advising Rebecca Mercer and writing Hillbilly Elegy and talking about it at the Aspen Institute. That's your biographical credibility? How many of these disaffected white people that love Trump because he's racist went to Yale Law School and got plucked out by Peter Thiel, whoever he even is? Peter Thiel with his fixation with the Antichrist, this homosexual who's involved with the CIA, who wants to live forever and govern the world with AI. Yeah, that's really relatable. Do another show with him and Curtis Yarvin. Do another show. Do the 47th show with JD Vance. It is insulting, and it is insulting to everybody's intelligence for Tucker to sit there and say he doesn't know his dad is in the CIA, for him to say that I'm in the CIA. What a joke. What a sick joke. Especially after everything that's happened to me. And unlike what Candace Owen says, she says, what happened to him when he was 18? What happened to me is ongoing, okay? Unlike Candace Owens and Tucker, I never got a contract with Ben Shapiro and Rupert Murdoch. I was on Maker Support. I was on Patreon. I was on D Live. I had to fight for everything I have. I didn't get $1 million contract from Turning Point. I didn't get $20 million from Fox News. My daddy didn't get me a job in Arkansas. So ridiculous. So that's that. That's my rebuttal to that whole situation. It drives me crazy. What happened to him when he was 18? I still can't get a check mark on Twitter. I had someone that showed up to my house and tried to shoot me in December, and nobody even talked about it. They tried to cover it up. Somebody came to my house with a gun and tried to break in and shoot me doing my show, and nobody covered it. And that's not me complaining, but to try to pretend like that happened to me when I was 18. For 7 years, at great personal and professional cost, I have told the truth about these subjects as I have always understood it in the moment, and I have been remarkably consistent. For that, I have lost every friend I ever had in high school. For that, I was subpoenaed by Congress, had to pay $250,000 in fees. I got banned on every social platform known to man. I got debanked. I got put on a federal no-fly list. I have been slandered and lied about, called a racist, a Nazi, called the Fed. Meanwhile, Tucker and Candace were raking in millions from Rupert Murdoch and Ben Shapiro, not talking about the things I've talked about for 8 years. And then when it became unavoidable last year, now they want to direct the traffic. Now they swoop in from Fox News and Daily Wire and say, I'm going to tell you what to think about Israel, and here's who you can and can't listen to. That is ridiculous. And it is offensive to the intelligence of anybody that is paying attention to this. And you know what? I don't have a platform as big as Tucker. I don't have a platform as big as Tucker because I never had a Fox News show. And I don't have a check mark on Twitter, and I'm banned on YouTube, unlike him. And I don't have a platform as big as Candace Owens because I never had a Daily Wire show, and I've been banned on YouTube for as long as she's had a show there. So I don't know how many people will even hear this. Is anyone going to hear this and understand how wrong this is? That's the game now, is they will talk over you because they still have a bigger megaphone. But for anybody that watches this show and paid attention to what I've said, maybe now you can start to understand what is going on here. And they lied about it. Candace Owens said it was random I attacked Joe Kent. I tweeted everything that I just said at her a few months ago. I don't trust them. I don't know them. Their story's weird. They're telling us it's the Frankists. It's the neocons. I am overdosing on red pills, and you are not going to stop me. If you kill me, you will not stop me. And genuinely, when I research this stuff, I get scared because I think that's their next move, is to try to mess with me in some escalating way. Because they do see me as a problem. They say I'm getting too popular, I'm getting too famous, I'm breaching containment. And now they deploy Candace Owens. At the peak of my popularity, she comes in out of the blue to invite me on her show and do this hit job. And then a week later, she goes on Tucker and they collude to do this hit job. And this isn't going to work. No one in the comments on Tucker's channel is buying it. I don't know what they'll do next, but I'll tell you one thing. That's the worst thing they could do, because when they do that, I become a martyr. I didn't start this show to start lying or selling out now or playing nice. And that's from the basement-dwelling, incel, white male, loser child from Chicago.
Really got to look at who was debanked, deplatformed, decensored, shut down anywhere he went. He was called a racist. His name was dragged through the mud. And a lot of the times when you have somebody like that, that's the one that they're trying to silence. I mean, for all things true, Tucker is a mainstream guy. I mean, he's mainstream through and through. He's in the pockets of many of those individuals that Nick was talking about. And that goes the same for Candace as well. I mean, Candace is she's a very grifter type, in my opinion. She goes where it's the most controversial to get clicks. Like, she'll go against black women, or she'll go against, BLM and, this whole weird thing with the French, president or whatever they're called over there. It's more like a diversion. If we're America first, we need to worry about what's going on in America first. And until we have all this buttoned up, who gives a shit what else is going on? But yeah, we'll keep going.
You're welcome. Anyway, so that's that. We're going to move on. We're going to take a look at the super chats. But seriously, I feel so strongly about that, because what I've been saying for years is like, this guy's a fake. And when you hear that, it's like, wow, so that's how you feel. That's his whole shtick. I'm just like you. I'm a normal working class American. And then he says with such derision, with such contempt, this child from his basement, this weird creep in Chicago in his parents' basement. Talk about out of touch. Talk about tone deaf. Seriously? Why don't you do another show about home ownership is out of reach for young males? Yeah, except if you disagree with him, then you're a loser, I guess, right? Which is it today, Tucker? Are you the champion of white males that can't afford a home, or are you a loser? I guess it depends on what your political views are. If you're a racist, anti-Semite or not, right? If you're a crazy nut job. I am not crazy. I am not hateful. I am paying attention, and my parents did not work in the CIA. That's why I'm the only sane person in politics. Because my dad wasn't running the CIA, he's running the tollway. And I'm not saying that disrespectfully towards my father, but I come from real American stock that you pretend to be. I wasn't fighting with the Sandinistas and the Contras. I was fighting the pussy hat liberal protesters in Boston. I was at Charlottesville. Who is even American here? I am American. I am America first. I am America first. You are not. And if it doesn't have me in it, it's not America first. Inclusive populism, fuck you. Multiracial, working class populism, colorblind meritocracy, give me a break. Modern Bill Buckley. Same story. Modern Bill Buckley, and not as intelligent. Anyway, we're going to move on. We're going to take a look at our super chat. So bring it on. Have me on your show then, tough guy. Or are you just going to gossip about me with Candace Owens, daddy's boy? And that's what sickens. You know, in politics, I've known a lot of people that are like that. My father was in the Bush administration. My father, so disgusting. You disgust me. You disgust me. But seriously, you are filth. My daddy ran the CIA. My daddy and my mommy are rich. Good for you, pal. Both of my parents' fathers died in the 70s. So I have that going for me. My father and my grandfather worked for the city of Chicago, which I know. Yeah, nothing important happens here. Just losers here. Just losers in their basements. Just loser anti-Semites and racists that J.D. Vance needs to corral into the CIA plantation to go fight a war with China while Israel gets the spoils. Ridiculous. Anyway, who would win? One righteous man or everybody else?
Damn. I don't think Tucker knew what he was getting himself into. I mean, when somebody has so much skeletons in their closet, I just find it so funny that these politicians think they can go head to head with somebody. It's mind-boggling, honestly. I mean, when you have so much, you know, political baggage and interest that come along with the role that you've had and your family, and you come from that, I mean, there's so much stuff that can be pulled up on you. It's just mind-boggling. I mean, it's another way to further divide the movement, and you know, I think it's divisive, honestly, and I think it's counterproductive. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, and see you at the next one. But Nick is onto something. He's cooking for sure.